What's up, the world? It's your boy Tommy Mav, and I came to give you guys my thoughts on what's been going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? To look in the mirror and share my truths. I'm gonna start off by saying, you see people get their comeuppance when selfishness is rewarded, right? It says in the Bible, you know it's the end of the days when the vilest of men are exalted. Now, I'm not in any way saying that this person is the vilest man, and I'm just saying those traits in people are so they're seen as commodities in our society, right? That's selfishness, right? Again, I said last time I spoke, I said there's a difference between dog and selfishness. There's a difference. A dog wants to win. A selfish person wants to be the reason that you win. That does not make you a dog because you're selfish, right? I hate that. I hate that those two things constantly get put under the same umbrella when they're completely different. Anybody can be selfish, right? It doesn't take much. All you have to do is figure out how to be the tip of the spear, and then just make sure you do everything in your power to maintain that spot, right? This is the problem I have. When you watched the Lakers last night, it seems like everybody is buying into a team aspect, a team philosophy, except for one player. Everybody else seems to be willing to sacrifice their points, their minutes, all this stuff to me. The biggest problem, and I'll say it, this is what annoys me the most. People are putting Luka Doncic in the MVP thing. Cannot argue with that because they have a consistency of doing this. You score points, you generally are in the MVP discussion. That's just how it works. The problem I have, again, I said I can go back and harp on the Harden, Luka Doncic double standard and how he's basically Harden, a slower, less athletic version of James Harden. I can go back and harp on that, but I've harped on it enough. The point I'm saying is, when you teach a man that he can play selfishly, play as if he's better than everybody else on the court, even though he's not, play like he's better than everybody else on the court, he gets the control. When he's in the game, he acts as if nobody else is on the team, and he plays as if he's the only player on the team. And people have told him this is what makes him great. I've said this from the time I started my channel. If it takes you 30 shots to get 30, I have no use for your 30. Because I'm so sick and tired of this man shooting 40% and people applauding it, saying he's great. I cannot stand that. Kobe shot a lot of shots, but Kobe was efficient. Kevin Durant, efficient. LeBron, efficient. These scores, they scored, but they were efficient. They shot high percentages. They did not take bad shots. I mean, Kobe took a lot of bad shots, but for the most part, Kobe made those shots. Luka is an amazing offensive player. He is not in anybody's MVP if he's averaging. He's in nobody's MVP right now if he's averaging 20. If he's averaging 21, he knows that as well as we know it, right? He knows he has to be averaging what he's averaging to be in the MVP discussion. And so when you're watching these games and you're watching a guy who constantly they're getting these lead, they're leading when he leaves. Let's start out by saying he plays absolutely no defense. I mean, defense is optional for this guy. He is the worst. He is the representation of the worst basketball mindset of people that I've hated my entire life. Those players that have no use for any other aspect of the game. You know how easy it is to not do nothing and wait until somebody else gets a ball and then do this. That is the most annoying junk in the world. You are not amazing because you can shoot. You're going to shoot 20,000 times. You can take Marcus Smart. He shot 40 times a game. I guarantee you he would at least average 20. That's the reason why Cam Thomas right now, who is just as skilled as Luca, is looking for a job right now. Because everybody realizes this guy doesn't care about anything but scoring. He does, and there's no other aspect to the game to Cam Thomas except scoring. He has no idea how to, defense is optional to him, but that's the difference between a guy like Luca and a guy like Cam Thompson. Luca was a high draft pick, Cam Thompson was a low draft pick. Luca played on teams where he was given the keys and he did well. Cam Thomas has always been on piddling bottom feeder teams who he's getting his points because he's shooting because there's nobody else on the team. And so he can play. So nobody wants to build their team around a Cam Thomas. So he's going to keep getting cut because you got to do the little things. And when you sit there and you watch a guy like Luka, it is infuriating to me. It's infuriating to me. At some point, people look at you and say, okay, you think it's 1-on-5 on offense, right? How about we make it 1-on-5 on defense and see how well you do? 1-on-5 when it comes to rebounding. Let's see how well you do. Because you're going to get all the praise because you scored 40. While you gave up, while I'm sitting up there having to cover two people because you can't play no defense. And I sit up there and I'm standing there wide open while you taking contested shots with 3 people on you. Missing half of them. I mean, 3/4 of them. And you sit up watching like, bro, this is so annoying. Stop shooting, bro. Watch it, ball move. He comes in, ball stops. This guy plays not a lick of defense. This is why I got so mad about that guy, whatever his name is, the guy who used to coach Seattle Supersonics, George Karl. Luka is everything George Karl has ever hated in every black star he's ever coached. Yet this guy comes out of the woodwork to talk about how great he thinks he is. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. And that's why people have the opinions they have about people. That there's always an unspoken bias in them. Because consistency is never there. It's always based on some arbitrary, inconsistent narrative that when you press them on, they just say, I don't have to explain it. It's just different. If you ever get in a discussion with somebody and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, I don't have to explain it, it's just different, that person has no interest in logically explaining their argument. Because they have no logical argument. They're just hoping that they can bluff their way out of ever having to explain why their arguments make no sense. And they truly believe that that is the right way to prove that they're right. Because in their mind, they're going to say, well, I'm right. I just can't explain it in a way that makes me not look biased. So the way it looks is different than what I actually mean. Because I need it to be. And when you're having a conversation with a person and they can explain it, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth about LeBron is selfish. It's like a punch. It's like, LeBron selfish? What makes LeBron selfish? Oh, he's this, he's that, he's that. Almost every one of them love Luca. It's like, okay, I'm so confused. It seems like this is not about basketball, and you thinking LeBron is selfish, because I don't see anybody on record coming out calling LeBron selfish. Not a teammate, not a person inside, nobody, right? So they're so far and few. Like the Jordan stories you have in Kobe stories, you have people coming out everywhere talking about these stories of them treating people like trash and treating people with disrespect and not being good teammates. Why doesn't anybody come out with any stories of LeBron doing this to anybody? Or Kevin Durant doing this to anybody? Or Steph doing this to anybody? You guys been playing for years. They don't have none of these stories of these guys treating their teammates like trash. No, you don't. Yes, people are going to say, you need to be on this. You need to get better at this. You need to do da. Go here, go there. That's a part of being a team leader. You have to be the one to say, hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. That's not treating your teammates like trash. That's being a leader. It's a difference. Michael Jordan literally threatened to fight people for beating him in scrimmages, punched people in scrimmages, used to stay out gambling until 3 a.m, then show back up at games and start yelling at other people when they lost. It wasn't there to try to help the players. He was not a good mentor to the players on the team. He wasn't the person to pull a rookie to the side and say, hey, this is how you do things, this is how you play, this is how you... Nothing. Almost every player on his team, none of them have a record of him mentoring or taking anybody under his wing. He put Kobe... No, he didn't. He did not put Kobe under his wing. Kobe just annoyed him. He would pester him. He would call him, even though he knew that Michael Jordan was dismissive of him. Kobe just continued to keep going through the dismissive behavior and how he treated him. But you have the record of what Michael Jordan said about Kobe before he even knew Kobe, before they had a relationship. He said, "Don't pass it to that boy for the Lakers. He gonna shoot everything." So that guy had no intention of mentoring anybody, and I think it's loosely based that he actually mentored Kobe, because I don't think he did. I think Kobe just watched him from afar. Kobe used to have to talk to Phil Jackson. He used to have to talk to people who played with Michael Jordan, because he didn't really have some huge relationship with Michael Jordan. But so I don't count Kobe as some mentor with Michael Jordan. So to me, I feel like when you watch a guy like Luca, arguing with the coaches, cursing the coaches out on the sideline, this, that, and the third, refusing to come out of the games, to me, he's closer to Melo, right? But Melo got excoriated his entire career for being exactly how Luka is, right? Luka has a big body. He's super unathletic, so he has slow feet, so he can't stay in front of anybody, and he can't contest without fouling. So to me, watching Luka get torched on defense is a play every play occurrence. He's always getting torched. And when you're sitting there and you're watching it over and over and over and over and over again, I think it starts to work on Luka's psyche, right? He knows he's getting torched. So in his mind, his only get back is to beat other people on offense. The problem with doing that is there's other people on the team who need to get their touches. And you're not doing a good job of making sure everybody getting your touches. You can't have LeBron 12 shots, Austin Reeves 13, 14 shots, Luka 40. It's like, oh my gosh, bro, I'm pretty sure when you go in 13 of 31, that somebody could have got a better shot on the goal than you. And I compare him to James Harden. I do. But the difference is James Harden was way more efficient than Luka is. James Harden was a high percentage shooter. I don't know the comparison, but just from the eye test. I don't know the comparison statistics-wise, but from the eye test, it seemed like James Harden is a way more pure scorer than Luka Doncic is. Luka Doncic, to me, is a good player who knows how to maneuver, knows how to use his body, is a very good offensive player. But I don't think he's James Harden when it comes to efficiency. I think he's just James Harden when it comes to the way he plays. The volume, shot volume, the ball, not even shot volume, because I don't know if James Harden shot that much. I know James Harden over-dribbled a lot. And Luka over-dribbles. He dribbles too long. The ball sticks with him constantly. And when they run to these slumps, he is 90. Every time you see them a 15, 20-point lead and it drops down to 4, it's Luka. He goes in the slump, start missing shots. But nobody else is getting an opportunity to shoot because he gets the ball, completely monopolizes the ball, ISO play, and then shoots a bad shot to end the clock, and then gets beat on the other end. He knows he's so useless on the defensive end that he will miss shots and not even try to run back. He will literally just stand there and look at the referee while the teammate is going. His teammates, who he has screwed the entire game, is running back to cover his dude while he's sitting over here arguing with the referee over him not getting an extra. The man getting 13, 14, 5 shots a game. Yeah, he's getting mad when they miss one. While his player is running down in court. And you go watch the replay, it wasn't even a foul. And this is constant. And so even when they were on their win streak, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not a winning formula. They cannot keep playing like this because it relies too heavily on him playing well. He has to shoot well. If he doesn't shoot well, they're going to lose every time because he's not going to give nobody else an opportunity to shoot well. So they're winning they're so good of a team that they're still winning in spite of Luka, not because of him. That's why the MVP stuff was driving me crazy. Victor Wembanyama's team is winning because of him. You take Victor Wembanyama off that team, they are not the same team. They're a good team, they're not an elite team. Luka Doncic they're winning because and despite of him. When he's shooting well, they're winning because of him. When he's shooting bad, they're winning despite of him. In spite of him, because the shots he's taking are not like, oh, Kevin Durant, I'm 7 foot, so I can shoot over top of people, bad shots. He's taking bad shots. Like, why in the world would you think that that's a better shot than passing it to that guy that's standing wide open? He does not look for teammates. He's dribbling like he's playing one-on-one in the gym by himself. The rest of the guy might as well go back down on the other side of the court because he is not passing that ball. And you sitting up there watching this man like, oh my gosh, this looks like a freaking AAU tournament. And this guy has no idea what he's doing. He's dribbling into 3 or 4 people. You looking at the stat line, this one got 1 turnover, this one got 1 turnover. This man got 5, 6 turnovers. It's like, my God, bro, pass the ball. But I tell you, this is the problem you have when you give somebody who is already privileged the green light to be arrogant. Privilege and arrogance do not match. You cannot put an arrogant person in a position of privilege, right? A person who feels they're better than other people should never be given privilege over the people they think they're better than, because they're always going to believe it's different rules for them than it is for others. So they're not the people to lead. But in this society, we are constantly rewarding people for arrogance. like a little bit of humility is seen as a weakness. Doing the right thing in spite of the consequences is seen as a weakness. And that's the problem. That's when you create a guy like Luca, Ja Morant, these guys who different. I'm better, so there's different rules for you than it is for me. They don't have the same mindset. When you watch a guy like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson, you know what I mean? These SGA, though SGA can be a bit of a slouch on defense. What you realize is that these players, and Victor Wembanyama, these players are not insecure. They're not out there. They're out there because they realize that I can be seen as great because I do a myriad of things. Victor Wembanyama knows he's already going to be seen as great because of what his skill set is. He can do everything well, right? I can do everything well. So therefore, I'm the best player in the league, hands down. Anthony Edwards, I don't need to press because I'm the best player because of what I do. There's nothing I can't do. Anything I need to do for my team, I can do for my team. You need me to lock down their top scorer, I can do that. You need me to score 40, I can do that. You need to get 20 assists, I can do that. There's a very few number of people in this league that can do that. I would stop the list at Jalen Brunson, Victor Wembanyama, Edwards, and Jokic. Those are probably the only four. Jokic just sucks on defense, so that's why I would drop him off. But if you're talking about that can do everything, it's Jalen Brunson, who is a liability on defense, but he's not playing center. So all he has to do is stay in front of his defender, and I think he's a pretty heady. I think he reminds me a lot of Chris Paul, very, very cagey, very good perimeter defender. I just think he's just kind of small. So if you get him underneath the rim, he's kind of exposed. But most point guards are. But regardless, the point is that I would say a person that can run an offense, shoot, help, not need to be helped on defense. I think those are parameters of the elite. I don't think an elite guy is an SGA or a Jokic or a Luca or any of these guys that shoot a lot and don't bring much else to the table. It's outside again. Jokic is an asterisk because Jokic can't bring stuff offensively. He can, but defensively, the boy is lost. He can't guard the rim because he can't jump. He can't come out, to the perimeter and pick up a big man like a Wembanyama. He can't do anything. All he can do is stand on a goal, hope other people can kind of shade and force players into his path, where he can just stand and put his arms up. He's just generally he's gonna get dominated by every skilled big man. Anthony Davis, Victor Wembanyama, Giannis, Joel Embiid. He's gonna get bodied by all those players. And on the other side, he's not always gonna score points. He might get you assists and stuff in different ways, but Jokic is never gonna be that guy that's gonna go out there and torch the other team's best player. Generally, I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm saying generally that's not what Jokic does. He plays the game in a different way, but he's not gonna go out there and be in a 1v1 matchup with mono matchup with Joel Embiid, where Joel Embiid scores 50 and he's gonna score 50. He's not gonna score 50. He might assist 10 and score 23, but that's just what he does. So it's not to knock Jokic. It's just to say Jokic has a huge lot. I think defense, Jokic is just such a liability on defense that it negates the offense. And I'm like that with most people. Same thing with, like I said, SGA is to me, he's a scorer and he doesn't bring much of anything else. That to me is important. SGA is athletic. He's big. I mean, he's not super athletic, but he has good. He's not slow-footed. He should be a better defender than what he is. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care to play. To him, it's optional. And I hate people who say defense optional. It's like if they were putting out an ad, can score, monopolize the ball, ISO player, defense optional. Like if you putting out an ad for all these players, what would the ad be? That's how I define players, right? Joel Embiid, great rim protector, great offensive one-on-one player, marginal passer. Can't work weekends. Will not do overtime. Need a lot of sick days. That would be the flyer if that's the product and you're trying to advertise that to people, right? Jalen Brunson, undersized, hard worker, can make a myriad of shots, great team leader, great mindset, great locker room guy, but limitations on defense. That's what I'm saying. What would the ad be for Luka? Needs control. Offense has to run through him. Have to stick with him even though he's playing bad. He's playing bad offense, not moving the ball, constantly putting the team in bad positions. But as long as he scores 40, he's the reason the team's doing good. It's an insane notion. The guy's not the reason the team is doing good. They're not scoring because they're not winning because of him. They're winning in spite of him. And when you're sitting there and you're watching a guy constantly do this, where he's going out there and he's chunking up 30 shots to get and people applaud him because he's scoring 45. It's like you realize you get 2 points for every shot you shoot. So he had the chance of scoring somewhere within 60 and 70 points, and he gave you 30 or 40. That's not amazing. And I'm so sick and tired of mediocrity being applauded in our society because of who people are. Narrative is not more important than truth. And I cannot stand when people make narrative more important than truth. People start acting as if what they believe is more important than what actually is. And I can't stand that. You can believe what you want. Now let's get down to the brass tacks. Let's get down to actual factual evidence. Factual evidence does not support the idea that Luka Doncic is an asset at this point. When he's shooting bad. If he's shooting bad, he brings absolutely nothing to the table, and he is a huge liability. So you have to rely on this man to shoot well every game, or you're going to lose. It is just that. It's just that cut and dry. He shoots bad. Generally, you're going to lose because he is not going to give any. He is not the guy. If he's shooting bad, to say, okay, I just don't got it tonight. Let me try to get other people involved. That is not Luka. He gonna keep shooting. He gonna keep playing. He gonna keep playing terribly. He gonna keep monopolizing the ball. It's one thing to have a shooter, meaning a guy who shoots a lot, right? Shooters have to shoot. They have to keep shooting so that they can catch their rhythm. Luka monopolizes the ball. That's what makes him a problem. He makes it so other people can't do anything. So when the game, they were winning the game, they were pulling away, he comes back into the game. The minute he comes back in the game, the ball stops. Stops every time. He's grabbing the ball, shooting a bad shot. Austin Reeves come in, score. LeBron scoring. Everybody's doing their job, and he is sitting up there causing all types of problems by just holding the ball, trying to get his 40. And after a while, I guarantee people are not. It's going to be real hard to play with that dude because nobody's going to want to deal with that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna come over here and play with you. Where you gonna get the shots whenever you feel comfortable with you. You're gonna do what you want to do, and we're supposed to all just sit back and just watch you play. You got a Hall of Fame, or possibly the greatest basketball player to ever play on your team, and you're treating him like a role player. You got Austin Reeves, who's a good second option. You treat him like a role player. At some point, these guys are like, I'm not playing with that dude. The dude has absolutely no interest in trying to be a team player. He is out there trying to get his stats, and he does not, because he wants to be able to look and argue with other people and say, I'm doing good, I got my points. But the team is terrible while you in there. You're messing up the flow, you're messing up everybody's rhythm, and nobody wants to play with a guy who is going to shoot 40 times a game and make 30% of them. So to me, I think it all starts again with the way that these kids are favored, right? You used to have like grassroots programs where kids actually had an opportunity to learn the sport, right? Man, I think it was around like 2011, 2012, where everybody started saying, I hate this, everybody gets a trophy crap. You need to earn it. You know, guy saying it has never earned anything, has never been good at any sport, never been good at anything. But he's the one talking about everybody doesn't deserve a trophy. That's just messing it up. Everybody deserves a trophy. No, it's not about everybody deserves a trophy. Everybody deserves an opportunity to learn the game. You idiots are messing that up. You're trying to find kids at 4 and 5 years old who you think have a natural knack for the game. They're not a natural act. Certain kids are more mature than other kids. So they're going to be able to maturely be able to play. A lot of times girls are more mature than boys, right? So when they're younger, the girls and the boys can play together, because a lot of times the girls mature faster than the boys, so they can at least play a more intelligent game than the boys do. But once the boys get to a point where the athleticism kicks in and they're way more athletic than the girls, it's no longer a game, right? So all these kids that you spent your entire life thinking were good players, they meet the physical wall. They meet a wall where they're going to be as good as they can be from a mature standpoint, understanding the game. Now they have to get to a point where they have to get good individually, athletically, on that level. And that's where you run into the problems, because you're putting yourself in that position now. Nobody's going to look at you and say, oh, you know what I mean, this guy's a good player, so, you know, when we were 9, so therefore I'm going to put him on a team when he's 14. But the kid that could have been good is bounced out at 5 because he's not showcasing maturity at 5. He's 5. He's out there like running around, doing backflips and this, that. He's not worried about trying to figure out how to get down properly on defense or how to step on his right foot to lay the ball up. That man's just out there playing, having fun. That kid has lost the opportunity to learn at a young age, because all these super parents who are never ever good at anything now want to come in and try to live vicariously through their children and throw their kids out there. And they're trying to get these kids to start playing like they're playing in the pros at 5. And so they're finding one kid who is mature enough to play a dumbed down elementary version of the sport and treat him like he's the smartest player because he can do things that are amazing for a 5-year-old to do, but not amazing for a 9-year-old to do. And stuff that a 9-year-old is doing that's impressive for a 9-year-old, but not impressive for a 12-year-old. And stuff that a 12-year-old is doing that's impressive for a 12-year-old, but it's not impressive for a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old, 17, 18. By the time he gets to college, he's not good, because he's never gotten better at anything. He's just playing he's just more mature than the player. So you gave him an advantage and a head start on everybody else. So he continued to keep that head start until it got to a point where he's 5'5" in the 9th grade, and he's that him understanding the game a little better doesn't help him. But the guy who got bounced out, you see him walking around in the 9th grade. He's 6'5" and stopped playing basketball when he was 7 because his coach told him he was too clumsy and uncoordinated. At 7, he got back. Oh, you got to get bigger and faster. You're too uncoordinated. You got to work on it. He's 7. He got to be a kid. He don't got to go be in no freaking program dribbling and doing all this at 7. He don't even know if he's going to play basketball. But you want him to put all of that time into something that's supposed to be a hobby. Because deluded ass parents think that their kid is going to be the next LeBron James. For him to grow up and be in the 9th grade 5'2". It's like nobody is saying that everybody who there are some kids who generally are mature enough to start practicing and training for something at a very young age. And there's some kids who are not. They just don't care about it like that. And it's purely the parents. You got 12-year-olds, every sport. You got 12-year-olds traveling across the country. What is a 9-year-old, 10-year-old doing traveling to freaking Ohio to play in a basketball tournament? They ain't even good. You ain't even the best player in your own city. Why are you traveling to Orlando or all these other places, Ohio and Alabama and all these AAU tournaments? For what? All these freaking baseball, and all these people bouncing every state. You go play for a little kid to go play because they got to play the best competition. You realize there's good competition in your area, right? You just gotta there's not that much of a margin between the top teams and the good teams. One or two better players maybe. But your kid gonna probably get more out of playing a competition that he can actually be able to do something and do and help his confidence than playing against a bunch of people that's gonna be annihilating your kid and his confidence going down. So it's a trade-off. Confidence for competition. And if you're gonna always focus on every kid from the time he's little, treating it like it's a profession. No, it's a sport. It's not my job. I'm not getting paid to do this. So yeah, I'm going to tell my kid, hey, do what you got to do, but just take it slow. There's no need for you to be out there killing yourself for this. You do the best you can. It's a game. Learn it. If you're good at it, good. But you gotta, if you're gonna do it, you gotta you gotta do the bare minimum. I'm not saying you gotta go out there and kill yourself, but you gotta go out there and at least practice well enough so that you can play with the competition and you can continue to get better. Because you can't put no effort into what you're doing, but you also can't be sitting up there treating it like it's a job. Got kids going freaking playing on 8 AAU teams, bouncing around, getting special training from this one, this guy, this guru. The kid, not the kids. You don't spend thousands of dollars on this kid to play this sport, and now all of a sudden the kid don't want to play the sport no more, and you feel like you cheated. Well, he never told you. You the one. He told you wanted to play basketball. You're not giving him an opportunity to play basketball. You got him. You pushing him, and now you don't want to play nothing. Let the kid learn the game and have fun with the game first. Then maybe he'll develop a love for it. But especially if a kid is not in a situation where they're growing up in a situation where they feel like it's their only way out, it's very hard for them to have a true love for a sport without a need for it, right? I grew up in a bad situation, right? Bad socioeconomic status. So, of course, it meant more to me because it was a ticket out of that situation. I cannot juxtapose my mindset on a kid who is growing up where they don't need to be, they're not living in a bad situation. They don't need to be this. They just need to be normal. And I think that type of mindset is what created this atmosphere that creates a guy like Luca, where he's going out there and he's trying to score 40 and he's trying to score 50, and it's because his mindset from a little kid was told that he's better than everybody else. And so we're gonna put him on a professional team when he's 13. We're gonna put him there. He's always believed he's better than everybody else, and it just so happened that he ended up having the skills to actually be elite. So he kept being given the keys to the kingdom. But at some point, somebody got to pull him to the side and say, bro, you're not as good as you think you are. You're good at specific things. You can score. But there's a lot of people who can do what you do. They're just not given the opportunity to. So let's try to be smart. Let's try to utilize your skill without hurting other people. And he doesn't do that because he's been brought up in this mentality of I'm being rewarded because I'm good, not being rewarded because I'm privileged. And my dad my dad and mom played basketball, and I had cachet to be able to, for my dad to be able to make all those moves that put me in position to be able to showcase the talent that I did have. If your dad wasn't who you were, you wouldn't have got all those opportunities. You got those opportunities because your dad was was big in basketball over there, not because you were. So yes, you did the most with that opportunity, and you took that opportunity and ran with it, and I applaud that. But you got to be smarter when it comes down to understanding you're privileged, not special. If you were a Christian, which I don't think he is, but if you were a Christian, I would say you're blessed, not better. But people tend to, blessings are bestowed upon them. When you start to believe you earned a blessing, you're less grateful for it. And I feel like Luca he thinks everything he gets, it's what he deserves. He feels entitled to it. So when he's in the game, he feels entitled to taking every shot. But he doesn't feel entitled to take that same leadership role on the defensive side. He doesn't take that same leadership role when it comes to building his teammates up and picking them up around him. He is solely focused on himself. Everything he does is selfish. Every play he makes, everything he does, ignoring his teammates when they're calling for balls, constantly looking off wide open people to try to force up a bad shot. Then he'll turn around, jog back on defense. So then now I got to go cover for your guy. When I cover for your guy, my guy gets the ball and cuts to the rim. I get yelled at. While you're sitting over here arguing that you didn't get a foul after you tried to tried to get a layup off against 3 people. With you running into people, constantly trying to foul bait. It's like, bro, I get that from Austin. I can get Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves can give me that. Austin Reeves can score 40. And then want to take him half those shots. Why in the world am I giving you the ball 20,000 times for you to run around? I could give him the ball, and he's going to still get about 12 assists on top of 30 points. I'll take that over you scoring 40 and getting 10 assists that are just last-second tosses for dunks. You're not reading no defense. You're just dribbling the ball air out of the ball, waiting until there's no time left, then swinging it at the last minute for people to just shoot it so you can get an assist. They're not the good assists. They're calorie assists, bad assists. So anyway, I just wanted to come in because I really wanted to harp on that because that was frustrating me today. And let me know what y'all think. Please comment, like, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, what you doing? All right, y'all. Peace.